I think it's absolutely nuts. I actually think it's quite harmful. It's stupid, both on a legal and moral basis. And it's also really discriminatory, because if I was against this and I was in France, let's say I was a nun and I was against this, I will organise a bunch of nuns to get down there, have a little paddle in the sea, eat some sandwiches on the beach, and see if anybody comes along and tells me to take off my religious garb, because they won't. And therefore it is only against one religion, and that's why it's so damaging. The photograph you showed in the timeline of the woman sitting on the beach, 4 armed men surrounding her. And it's a great juxtaposition. In Raqqa, you can get a photograph of 4 armed men demanding Muslim women cover up. On the Côte d'Azur, you can get a photograph of 4 armed men demanding a woman uncover. And in this looking glass Alice in Wonderland world, the second photograph will go right round the Middle East as a recruiting sergeant to say, you see, we are oppressed, take up arms. It's counterproductive.
Nikita, what do you say? We're looking at that image as we're chatting now. Nikita, what do you say to those that say that, particularly looking at this image, it's necessary and proportionate to prevent public disorder?
I'm not really sure how a burkini would cause public disorder, and this is my concern here. Why we are not helping women where they require help the most, and why we are resorting to violence to try to keep women in line. I think it's quite shocking. I mean, a burkini is not a burqa. A man cannot wear a burkini. It's quite tight-fitting. It allows a woman to swim. I mean, what exactly are we trying to reduce the threat of violence here for? I don't see how that is connected to a correlation with violence. And I think it's shocking that violence is being used against women. And I completely agree that this otherization, this Islam versus the West, is a very good recruitment tactic to try to tell women that if you don't belong there, come here and work with us. And as an organization, that's precisely what we're trying to reduce, this type of extremist binary narrative, and to try to increase liberal values and allow liberalism in countries such as France.
Okay, there's 3 contextual things I think is worth putting in. One is that it is just after the Nice attack where the terrorists murdered so many people, and it's come in that. That doesn't excuse it, but that is contextual. What subsequently happened on several beaches is that there were women in bikinis with their families that did get stared at and attracted attention. That caused some fighting on the beach between some Muslim families and some non-Muslim youth. That escalated, and people were actually marching into Muslim areas. To try and stop that, instead of saying you're wrong for having this fight, they've said you're wrong for wearing the bikini, which for me is completely the wrong way around. But those 2 contextual things mean we understand it better. But the last bit is, this goes all the way back to 1905. The laws in France, laïcité, it's called the separation of religion and state, but it's gone to an extreme. In 1905, you could no longer wear the Star of David or the Crescent for Islam or the cross in a public place, a school, university, civil service. You're not allowed to wear them because they take it so seriously. And again, that's the atmosphere of France. 2010, they did ban the burqa. It's been upheld at the European Court of Human Rights. But again, that's a different subject. That's about face covering, it's about security, it's about terrorism. This is something else completely, and I'm quite astonished. It goes to court tomorrow, it goes to one of the higher courts in France tomorrow. I cannot see how you can justify in law that you're only going to go up to Muslim women and say, take that off, and you're not going to go up to other women, a nun, a bodyboarder surfing in a full wetsuit, etc. I don't see how you could justify that in the highest courts of the land, but we're going to find out.
Nikita, what case do you think should be made to that court tomorrow, in your opinion?
Well, I don't think there is a case. I mean, if there has been no instance of a burkini being effectively used as a security threat, I think the case that needs to be made is that women should be given the liberal authority to wear what they like. As a woman myself, if I went to a beach and someone told me to wear a burkini, I would be offended. Similarly, if I didn't feel like wearing a bikini and somebody told me to wear one, I would be offended. As women, we should be allowed to wear what we like.
Nikita, sorry to... Kay's quite happy for me to jump in, so forgive me for interrupting you, and you, Kay. You just said a minute ago a woman's right to wear whatever she wants. Do you include the niqab and the full-face burqa in that?
in my personal opinion, I have nothing against a hijab or a niqab. A burqa, personally, I don't agree with, but that would be, particularly if somebody asked me to wear it. And so, yes, that's my personal opinion, since you've asked me.
Well, no, yeah, look, we essentially agree with each other, and I actually think this is actually a distraction, the whole burqa thing. I mean, personally, I understand...
What Nikita was saying, to
yes,
be fair.
I understand the French law banning it, and they fine people on the street, but it's almost like a separate issue, because this is not a security issue, and well, yeah, I mean,
no,
we're here
not.
to agree with each other.
Well, yes, and my point is that as women, we battle with, what I call in our organization, gender extremism every day. We battle with the fact that when we go to courts, there's bias towards men when it comes to custody of our children. There are Sharia laws that stop women from living freely in society. There are bans on people being able to criticize religion and call for religious reform without having risks to their lives. These are all the kind of issues we should be focusing on when we talk about combating extremism. Now, if a woman wants to wear a bikini, and go swimming in it, doesn't bother me, and I don't think it should be given so much legal attention when there's so many other legal issues that require our attention.
Like I said, we do agree. The burqa to me is a red herring in this particular debate. I am really quite astonished that in law this can get anywhere, because again,
They banned the headscarf previously in France, haven't they?
No, I don't think the headscarf is banned. The burqa is banned by the 2010 legislation, and again, it was upheld. I think the headscarf, the headscarf is banned in schools, civil service, just the Star of David or other paraphernalia is. Let me put you in court, Kay, for so many reasons. I'm going to say...
You're not the first person to have said that, to be honest.
I'm going to say to the judge or to the prosecutor, exactly how much does the woman have to take off? Can she have her forearms showing? It's not going to stand up in law, surely. It's local councils. A regional court has upheld it. It goes to a sort of Supreme Court in Paris tomorrow. I think there's going to be demonstrations against this, and I think how ludicrous the law is. It'll be shown to be stupid and discriminatory, because, as I said, let's get a bunch of nuns on the beach and see what happens. And if nothing happens to them, and that's a religious garb, why should anything happen to another religious garb?
Okay. Final thought from you, Nikita. What would your advice be to those young women that we have seen being not arrested but fined by armed officers on the beach in the Côte d'Azur? Should they continue on with making their points or not?
Yes, I think they should. I think there should be more space for women to voice their opinions. If a woman has been assaulted, if she's been threatened, if she's been made to feel unwelcome, we should be giving her space to say that, and that will also empower other women to come forward with their stories. Similarly, if a woman is told, please cover your hair, or please wear these outfits because they're making us feel uncomfortable, we should also have spaces for those women to say, I do not want to cover up, or I want to take off my clothing. I mean, it's up to the woman to decide what it is that she wants to do.
Good to talk to both of you. Thanks so much indeed for joining us on Sky News this afternoon. Thank you.